since this is your first entrepreneurial endeavor outside of your, marriage, tell me about the pros and cons of that as it pertains to this business model.
Okay, so I say the biggest con is you can never get away from your business partner. You got your business partner, you roll over, wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and your business partner is right there. And same thing when you go to bed at night.
Right.
So it's kind of tough to get away from work.
I've been accused on more than one occasion of sexual harassment, and she's looking for HR.
I said, I know some sexual harassment attorneys.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, Dave looks very excited right now.
Yeah, he looks a little scared. I don't know.
Real exciting.
Have anything to add?
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Chris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words, hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs in Finance. My name is Chris Roglieri, President and CEO of Commercial Capital Training Group. And this is a very special episode here that I'm pleased to interview a husband and wife team, one of our graduates that came through our training. So let me introduce you to Dave and Gretchen Guarino of Magis Funding Solutions. Hey, guys.
Chris.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Wonderful.
Good to see you. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, good to see you too. If memory serves me correct, you guys attended our May 2020 class.
Yes, that's correct.
Right. So this will be an interesting conversation because, May 2020, COVID was, it was weird.
Mhm.
Nobody knew if the world was going to end or not. And so I'm real interested to hear your perspective.
Yeah, and the class was all virtual too.
It was all virtual. Well, it's
Yeah.
it's not, we have a live version now, but it's a hybrid model. But yeah, it was all virtual. So pleasure to see you guys in person.
Thank you.
Thank you. You as well.
All right. So guys, take me, oftentimes we have a lot of couples that come through here, a lot of husband and wife teams that come through here. So I'm real interested to interview you of your journey. Tell me about your journey prior to getting here and what made you finally pull the trigger?
So if you don't mind, I'll field
Dave.
that question. I was in corporate forever,
Mm-hmm.
burned out, spent, in fact, a little sidebar, Chris. Gretchen and I actually met. Well, Gretchen and I lived in Albany for years with my old career.
Okay.
We did. Not too far from you guys, where you guys are. We were on Lark Street for a little while, right off of Lark on Lancaster, and then we were off of New Scotland.
Mm-hmm.
So my old career I was a financial wholesaler for about 20 years.
Okay.
And just the grind, being on the road, and it was more, the longer I did this, the less I made, the more stress, the less job security, and the less fun it was. I'm like, this is going backwards.
Right.
It was just corporate grinding trying to get as much as possible out of you. So we discussed what we want to do as a family, and a family plan as we're approaching our 50s. And I did a lot of research, and then we both discussed it. And I really want to do something more with my network, something that's more of a niche, having financial services in my background with all those relationships. And, I did a lot of research, and, I talked to Mike several times, Geisler, he was great. And I talked to Tim Maloney a bunch of times, poor Tim, he's been great to us.
Did you actually go visit Tim? Did you visit Tim at any one point?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, great.
Times.
All right.
Yeah, we both went there.
Gretchen likes
separately.
when Tim likes when Gretchen visits, not so much me.
Yeah.
So we've been there a bunch. He's been fantastic. So, we took the leap of faith. And we joined in May of 2020. Frankly, I was bootstrapping it, Chris. I was working both gigs.
Really?
Yeah. Unbeknownst to them.
So
Unbeknownst to them, because my industry was changing so rapidly,
Mhm.
and COVID was changing everything, and they kind of look at everything and say, let me take a step back here. I don't know if they really need all of our services. In a world in corporate where they're reducing people, they're contracting rather than expanding, it's time to work for ourselves.
And who actually found this? Was it you or Gretchen?
It was Dave.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did a lot of research.
Okay. And when he brought this to you, Gretchen, were you like, you're absolutely crazy, this is another crazy idea? Or were you like, this sounds interesting?
No, we had been talking about this for a long time. And when we saw this opportunity, we both felt it would be a good fit for our skills and our backgrounds. So my background is in the mortgage industry, just doing, conventional residential owner-occupied mortgages, both purchase and refinance, second mortgages, things like that. And then I'm also a licensed real estate agent. So, we definitely knew we wanted to focus on doing real estate. And we're both very passionate about real estate. So we thought it would be a great fit.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, yeah, with those backgrounds and networks. So, all right. So Dave brought this, you guys decided it's time to pull the trigger.
Mhm.
2020. I remember May, that was only a few months after we had to adjust our model.
Yeah.
Doing the virtual. Tell me about the virtual, your experience that week.
I liked it.
So we did like it. I always prefer to see people in person. I'm a, face-to-face kind of person. That's always more enjoyable. But given the circumstances, you guys did an amazing job. And I think made it, as fun and as interesting as possible, given that it was all virtual. And it was nice that, you have so many people coming in from the lenders and speaking to us directly, and that you give us case studies and, real world examples.
Chris, and one of my thoughts too was, you guys are local. We're all upstate people. So that's kind of a home field advantage.
Sure.
So like, even if we can't get there now, we can still, foster those relationships. We use you guys a lot.
Yeah.
Which is good. We're getting our money's worth. We're kind of pains in the ass, but we'd rather be that way. We're like, we love working with you guys. Like Rick Bartelli's fantastic.
Yeah, he is great.
Bridget's been great. Shannon's been great. Alex has been fantastic. We talk to Mac all the time. So, we've golfed with Mac. We're right down the road. He's in Rochester.
So he usually would tell me those things. He hasn't told me that.
Maybe he didn't enjoy it. Well,
maybe it's an upstate New York thing. I don't know.
Just maybe it is. Yeah. So, we realized like we can take advantage of the resources if we're not there. And frankly, we have 2 young children, so it was more convenient.
Right.
Yeah.
It really was.
And they were home all the time.
Yeah.
So, we really couldn't leave at that point. So it worked out well.
And at the end of the day too, Chris, I mean, I live in a world of conferences and conferences. I know how they are for the most part. You really don't start the real learning until you start doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
the meetings are nice, but there's only so much you can absorb in those meetings.
Sure. And now you guys, what package did you guys purchase? That we have here, gold.
The middle one. What's the platinum?
Platinum. Yes.
The platinum package. So you went through training, you got out of training. What was your game plan? I mean, tell me about that first month or two. I mean, what were you guys doing besides arguing?
That's every day. That's every day.
That's every day.
So we really did a lot of talking about how to utilize our existing networks of contacts. And, I think the first month was a lot of, putting together email lists for constant contact.
Yep.
And then I think, we spent a lot of time also just letting people know what we were doing.
Right.
Well, let me stop there. I didn't.
You did not. Well, he couldn't.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
So I really didn't do much of that, Chris.
Because you were working your other play.
I was kind of doing that. So to Gretchen's point, we were putting our systems and processes in place. You put your business plans in place, but then you're like, okay, we got a business plan of not only, we're doing this on our own, but something that's brand new to us. So this better be a malleable, very flexible, very fluid business plan. And you better be changing this and going along with this. You have some metrics. But to Gretchen's point, that's what we're figuring out. Who can we reach out to, that was appropriate at this time?
Yep.
So, but I will say this, the first 6 months, it's like a rookie quarterback.
Sure.
It's all read and react.
You get beaten up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like Tua. I'll call it Tua Tagovailoa. He still looks like a rookie quarterback. I remember Chris is a Dolphins fan.
Yeah, if you guys do come back here in person, we're gonna have to put you in the seat furthest away.
The back row.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh, Buffalo. No, and maybe once in a while I'll throw things at you. Like
there you go. That's love right there.
Listen, let me tell you something. Every game I've been to as a Dolphins fan, the only fans that are jerks are Buffalo fans.
That's right.
Really?
And Jets, we all get along, but I've had stuff thrown at me from Buffalo fans when you wear a jersey. Maybe I could return the favor if you come here in person. That would be my pleasure.
We'll go to the track. I like that.
Yeah, the track is great. Okay, so yeah, but that's a great analogy that a lot of people actually I've never heard before, but it makes sense. Your first 6 months, you're getting beat up a little bit, you're getting bruised, you're learning from mistakes, you're kind of adjusting. So, I'm sure you guys did a lot of that in the last, in the first 6 months, I should say.
Yeah, and it was really react because Chris, we didn't know what we didn't know.
Right.
We didn't know up from down, quite frankly. And what we were doing, you're waiting for those leads. So it was more, pulled and push, meaning what you're pulling in as opposed to what we were pushing out from a branding standpoint.
Yeah, we were more reacting to the leads that were coming in. And, the great thing is every time you have a conversation with a lead, you learn something. And I think that one thing you need to learn very quickly is to learn how to identify what's not going to work so that you can kind of avoid wasting time on deals that are just never, ever going to happen.
As we call those, Chris, the time bandits.
Yeah, avoid the time bandits.
Yeah. Well, and I talk about that the first day class. Avoid, and again, remember I told you that's almost like an instinct where you have to, you don't
have it right off the bat. You have to get beat up a little bit, like you said, and learn from experience.
And the other thing is too, we don't know what works from a marketing standpoint, in terms of the landing pages. So you're kind of, figuring how the machinations of it work behind the scenes, and you're working with Rick, as we've realized, we didn't like a lot of the SBA stuff early on, frankly. There was some bizarre stuff there. So become an expert in a few industries rather than a generalist in everything. As they say, niches get you riches.
Correct. Yeah. No. And with the form of lead generation that we do, a lot of time, it doesn't matter how niche you are, but you're always going to get some oddball requests that, we physically can stop people from filling out a form saying, I need you to, finance a vacation. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just,
but we got some really interesting ones if you want to hear about them. we had one person looking for some business financing to open a witch store.
Yes.
So that was one of the more interesting ones.
Yes.
And then there was a guy who his grandmother told him he needed to get some financing to buy a van. He didn't have a job, and she thought he should go out, buy a van, and go sell like PPE masks and COVID masks and things out of the back of the van.
Did you give that one to Dave to work on?
Yes, yes, I did actually speak with him. I did.
I could totally see Dave's face.
Okay.
Of how he looked when that request came.
We're gonna pass on this one. We can't help you, but we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the Chris Farley sketch on SNL about living in a van down by the river.
Yep.
So, Chrissy, what happened with us really the turning point? So I went full time January 1.
Yep.
And that's where we turned everything on. So the switch kind of turned on for us, like, hey, I'm fully in. I always give this the breakfast sandwich story. Are you the pig or the chicken? The chicken's involved to leg the egg, but that pig is fully committed and gave its life to the bacon. So we were the chicken, now we're the pig.
Mhm.
Right.
We're fully committed. And you said that a lot. There's a lot of dabblers in this, people doing side things, and like it's been completely different for us. It's a 180 for us in the business.
Yep.
In terms of the learning curve, the knowledge, the leads, things like that. We are primarily focused on real estate right now. We're still trying to figure that out a little, in terms of the landing pages.
Sure.
We want to have some diversification in the business, but again, we want to be experts in an area. So we've done a tremendous amount of marketing in terms of in-person. And if we look at now, we talk about centers of influence, leverage points, things like that, our network. We're working a lot with mortgage loan officers, some with CPAs, realtors, tremendous amount with realtors,
sure,
and real estate investors. I mean, I'd say now we've got another year of leads, through you guys.
Sure.
90 to 95% of our leads are referrals.
Or you've built up that network.
People are calling us every single day.
Which we talk about that in class.
Yeah.
So look, you guys have perfected that. Tell me about a memorable deal or, deals that you've worked on or anything that sticks out in your head.
So we've done a lot in the 1 to 4 family space, both purchase and cash out refinance of rental properties. We've done a few fix and flip deals. And I think that probably the most memorable of those deals is we were actually able to get a 9-unit multifamily property done. And it was, exactly what we talk about in class, that outside of the box property that just doesn't quite fit the bank criteria.
Yep.
And it was a 9-unit property with like a mixture of a 2-bedroom apartment, and then the other units were all basically micro units, little tiny studios, with a kitchenette and a bathroom, but very, very small. So just missing a lot of the things checking the boxes for a bank, but we were able to get that done, and that was a purchase. So that was pretty exciting. And then do you want to talk about
we've been working on
asset-based
with an apparel company for quite a bit here.
Okay.
It's been a long process. We thought we'd have it closed a long time ago. So it was more based on the sponsor, with some reluctance there and not committing early on.
Sure.
Because of board members, things like that, other lines of credit with other financial institutions. But we're close. I mean, we're within a week of closing now. It's just going through legal. It's already gone through underwriting. So that's between $3 and $4 million.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But another success story, now we're getting calls from local developers. To Gretchen's point, you segment the business 1 to 4. That's the bread and butter right now. We'd like to gravitate more toward the multifamily.
Sure.
Small balance commercial. Then obviously the big leagues are getting into that commercial real estate.
Yeah.
But we're seeing more now the multifamily.
And we're seeing a lot of success lately in the vacation rentals. Yeah. That's a very popular segment of the rental market. And we just actually last week closed a deal. It was a ski house, about a $400,000 ski house. We were able to get the borrower funding to purchase that as part of a 1031 exchange.
Oh, wow.
In
Buffalo?
Ellicottville,
New York. It's just a really popular ski town.
I was say, who the hell would want a vacation in Buffalo?
Dolphins. But what I was going to add, just had a developer call us the other day for pricing on a $7 million project we're doing.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like the fruits of your labor are starting to really pay off.
It's getting really close there.
Yep.
That inflection point where it's going to go that tipping point the other way.
That's exciting.
It is.
To say the least.
Yes.
Tell me about, since you guys are, a married couple, how is this your first? Is this your first business endeavor with each other?
Isn't
Yeah.
marriage a business?
But yeah,
It is. It always is, my friend.
it is. It really is.
it is,
Marriage is our business partnership,
It's a partnership.
aren't they? Oh my God.
Okay.
But yes, technically, yes, it is.
Hopefully, you guys have separate offices, or are you just in that one office that I see right now?
No, we got separate offices.
Whew. Yeah.
Sometimes we're together though.
Yeah.
So how do you? All right, since this is your first entrepreneurial endeavor outside of your marriage, tell me about the pros and cons of that as it pertains to this business model.
Okay. So I say the biggest con is you can never get away from your business partner. You got your business partner, you roll over, wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and your business partner is right there. And same thing when you go to bed at night.
Right.
So it's kind of tough to get away from work.
I've been accused on more than one occasion of sexual harassment, and she's looking
Yeah.
for HR.
I said, I know some sexual harassment attorneys.
I'll tell you.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the actual best.
So, I think that it's important to make sure that you're taking some time, to do date nights or things as a couple where you're, not focusing on work. And we do a lot of date nights.
That's good.
And then as far as positive aspects, I mean,
Sorry.
we're learning a lot together, and it's been, very exciting to start to see, as Dave put it, that tipping point.
Yeah, Dave looks very excited right now.
Yeah, he looks a little scared. I don't know.
Real exciting.
Have anything to add?
I love you.
I love you too.
Okay.
Well.
Yeah, you know what? I say if we can get through this, we'll get through anything.
Mhm.
That is true.
Making us stronger, baby.
And,
right?
and frankly, sharpen iron with iron, right? How I look at it is this. Gretchen is, I'm better at external sales, if we look at it that way.
Right.
Me being out in the community, telling people what we do, the branding. And frankly, I'm not always as detail oriented in every deal. I'm not going to be the person processing as well. Gretchen's very good at massaging that, working that end of the business. So our personality types do mesh well together there.
Yeah, and I was also going to ask you about that. Based on the unique qualities, personality traits you guys have, I'm sure you've winded those down for each of you, which best suits this business, right? Like you said, Dave, you're more business development,
Yes.
as you're saying, and Gretchen, you're more of the detailed. I mean, someone has to keep this guy in line, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Not an easy job, Chris.
Oh my God.
No, you're actually working 2 full-time jobs. You got this business and managing Dave and business.
Yep.
I feel
And 2 kids.
and 2 kids. You throw 2 kids into it. That's 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and so it sounds like you guys are at that tipping point, which I love. I mean, I've talked to a lot of graduates where they're at that same point, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
Really, really exciting. Tell me about, I mean, at this point, where do you see, what are the next 12 months look like, 24 months? What are some goals you guys have?
I'll let you take that.
Yeah, I'm the planner.
Yeah.
I'm the planner. Business. So I would talk about strategic vision, knowing where you're going.
Right.
So knowing that path. I really look at us in the next 12 months, just bringing people on. That's right. It's a 2-person shop right now.
Right.
It's really to be as effective as possible. You got to onboard some people here and allow us to do what we do best. Mm-hmm. And then segment the business. I mentioned this earlier. We're doing a lot of the 1 to 4 bread and butter, do more of that, do it great.
Right.
So do that really well. And then we can say, okay, other parts of the business now, We're doing more of the multifamily, the small balance commercial, maybe some bigger commercial, but also we've kind of ignored the other side, the business loans, working capital. So we need to get back into that space because markets change. So what happens when the real estate market's not always going to be this hot?
Sure. Yeah.
You have to have some diversification. So we look at that. Also, we need to get better with social media, things like that. So there's areas to improve on, but the next 12 months, it's really bringing some other people on.
Understood. Yeah. And that's about natural. I mean, I think I told you, we see most grads bring on people after that 12-month mark, usually after the 12-month mark, particularly in that next 12 months after that, they start bringing people on because they need to get that year or year and a half underneath their belt.
Yeah. And like I said, the first 6 months, we were kind of just not screwing around. We were just waiting for stuff to come in. We weren't fully engaged.
Sure. And you were
now we're all in as of January. So it's been great.
And in the beginning, we were still in COVID. It was hard to meet with people in person. So I think it really helped when we could go out and do in-person meetings and in-person presentations. For example, we started doing presentations at real estate brokerages, and that's been really great. Gotten a lot of business from that.
Right. That's great. All right. Well, what I want to do now is I'm just going to ask you some kind of off the ball questions here. I'll throw out and, so our viewers can get a little idea about your personalities if they haven't done so already.
God bless them.
I'll ask each of you. So, if you weren't doing this, if you didn't find Cctg, and let's say just in life in general, if you could snap your fingers and do anything you want in terms of a profession, what would it be? Without any training or anything, you could just snap your fingers and you're there. What would it be?
I would love to be the host of a cooking show.
Okay, so you can cook, I take it.
Yes, yeah. I used to be a private chef. I actually did go to culinary school, so I do have the training. But I love to teach people and educate people about things, and I love food. I'm super passionate, huge foodie.
What's your cuisine? Like, what kind of?
My favorite cuisine is New Orleans, Cajun and Creole, and just Southern cooking in general. And overall, American regional cooking.
What do they call, especially in like New Orleans? There's like 3 ingredients that everything has.
Oh, the Holy Trinity.
Beer pop?
Yeah, the onions, the celery, and the bell peppers, and then they say with the Holy Trinity, garlic is the Pope. So
the Pope.
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you got some culinary experience. He gets the benefit from that. Hopefully.
Sometimes, well, not lately.
Yeah,
I'm too busy to cook. This poor guy. Yeah.
No, I'm fine. In fact, Gretchen used to be the chef at the faculty lounge at RPI.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Many
years ago.
Yeah.
And before that, I was a private chef
in Boston
for a multimillionaire in Boston.
Wow. That. I would never have guessed that.
Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
I'd probably be a hand model. No.
Yeah. Hand model.
So, you know what? Probably look, the realistic. I like real estate development a lot, but really, if you could snap your fingers to your point, comedy writer.
Okay. Yeah. I can see that for sure.
Sketch comedy, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And maybe you've already answered this, Gretchen, but I'll start with Gretchen. What's something that somebody would normally not know about yourself just by meeting you the first time, or any quirky things that you're into?
So I already mentioned the private chef thing, which people would never guess given what I'm doing now. Actually, another quirky thing is I love to dance. I studied dance for many, many years growing up, and I actually used to teach Zumba classes. So it's kind of a quirky thing.
That is a quirky thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You ever just break out in a dance by cooking food, like in the kitchen?
Yes, occasionally. Yeah, my daughter loves to dance with me in the kitchen.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Dave?
I used to take acting classes,
Really?
and I've taken sketch comedy or sketch classes. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you got some type of, you kind of have like a film,
I don't know
film,
about that.
or it's a passion maybe, right? At one point. At one point. All right. If there's anybody you guys could sit down with and take an hour of their time, couple hours of their time, dead or alive, who would it be? I'll
For
start with
me,
you.
it's Anthony Bourdain.
Okay.
Um,
Sense with the
I read all of his books, and used to watch his shows religiously. Unfortunately, he committed suicide a couple of years ago, which was
Yeah.
really, really sad. But I just always loved his perspective on life. And I know that he went through a lot of personal struggles and overcame those to become very successful. And I just thought he was just a really cool guy. Love to sit down with him.
Very good. Okay. Makes sense. What about you, Dave?
Tim Russert,
Tim Russert. Okay.
late great Tim Russert, Meet the Press.
And why is that?
Tim, probably number one, is a Buffalo guy. Same high school, number two. Three, he was always on the world stage in terms of he was such a presence when it came to politics and with world leaders and speaking with people and the Meet the Press for years.
Right.
And Tim just had a sensibility about him where he can reach across the aisle. It didn't matter what your background was, whether it's, where you're from or your political affiliation, things like that. But he was a great interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
That said something about him. I always wanted to meet him.
All right. That's a first. I remember some of those interviews, so that makes sense. I could see where you'd want to do that. Last question for you guys before we turn the tables, but what's the one thing that you absolutely love about this industry?
I love when we get referrals. That is so gratifying to, have somebody say, hey, so-and-so said you guys got a really tough deal funded for them. And I'm trying to accomplish something. And they said I should reach out to you. It feels great to hear that. That's my favorite thing. Dave?
I would agree with that. Just the adrenaline rush of onboarding a new client. It's even better, to Gretchen's point, not only referral,
Mm-hmm.
but when they become a repeat client.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
So we had one recently. This really a feather in our cap, where these two gentlemen, one was from Long Island, one's from the Buffalo area, and they're real estate partners. And it's funny, they mentioned how they wanted to work with us, and all of a sudden they realized one day they mentioned RCN. We had worked with RCN in the past. And we're like, uh-oh, we got a problem there. Obviously protected leads. So it's transparency and doing our job and doing the right thing. We told them, hey, just so it's one of the, one of our partners, one of our lenders we work with as well, for full transparency. So we said, well, if you go in that direction, we cannot work with you. We'd love to work with you in other deals, but if you're going to really want to work with them, we can't work with you. So they were nice enough, and they said, but we have other lenders in our portfolio, that can, obviously give you deals, or obviously terms and rates can be just as good, just competitive. At the end of the day, remember, you're working with us.
Right.
So they took a day or two, and they said, as much as they like working with RCN, that experience, they chose us over that RCN and that broker, which was great. And now, they had a good experience with us. They've come back now with other deals, and they're referring clients.
It's a great story. Great story. What's the worst thing about this industry from your perspective?
I'll let you take that.
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Appraisers in New York being a title and settlement state.
Yeah.
I mean, it's attorney state, I should say. Attorney state
no.
for title and settlement, I should say.
Yeah.
New York being attorney state with everything with title and settlement. Oh my God, the HUD. That's the worst thing.
Yeah.
You would probably share that, Gretchen?
I definitely second that. Yeah, New York being an attorney state is tough. Other states where you can close with the title company, it just makes life so much easier.
So much easier.
We're getting a lot of local New York business, so a lot of our stuff is going through local attorneys, and that's kind of a pain.
Appraisals aren't fun either.
Yeah, that'll take a couple of years off your life for sure.
Yeah.
Those things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, now we've come to this side of the interview or segment where you guys ask me anything you want. It could be personal. It could be. You could take shots at the Dolphins. Whatever you want to do.
No.
All right.
Okay.
Ask me anything you like.
All right. Well, I was curious about what's the craziest, wackiest thing that ever happened in a CCTG class?
Crazy. Okay. Well, that would have, there's a few things, but I think one that sticks out. We had a guy one time, it was like in late Thursday. So, everybody's getting beat up with information. And I remember it was winter time, and in our old office that we had, our heat would get out of control. Because I had an old boiler system. It was an old building we were in, beautiful building, but it was just old. And so I remember it was a Thursday. It was like 5:00. I was lecturing, and the window, it was the winter time. We cracked the windows to kind of balance out the,
Yeah.
And so it was stuffy. And this guy was literally knocked out in one of these chairs that you see me in, like this, asleep.
Oh, that's great.
And all of a sudden, the chair just tipped over.
Oh,
I mean, he literally fell over in the chair. He was a heavy set gentleman. And basically, it was like, that's never happened before. I mean, chair fell over. We made sure.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that's probably one of the, we've actually had, believe it or not, I almost had to break up a fight one time.
Really?
oh my God.
Yeah, because there were two people that apparently insulted each other. And, again, it was late week, and all week they were just kind of, you could tell they were like,
There's
They
tension.
just didn't like each other.
Tension.
yeah. As you guys didn't get this experience, but when you're here in person, you tend to form bonds, friendships. But
Sure.
I've been doing this long enough to know that sometimes it goes the other way, where you just tend to, a group of people or two people just hate each other. And that was the case where I literally had to stop class and step in and say, look, guys, like, it's not cool. Like, everybody's here, you're making it awkward for everybody. Everybody paid a lot of money to be here. Like, be a grown up, act like an adult. You only have to be here for 2 more days. So those are probably two things that stick out in my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a couple questions. What would you do if you weren't in finance?
Easy. Race car driver.
Nice.
No.
Yeah, that's easy. I'd be an F1 driver.
Well, I was gonna say I love the F1s. Those
Yeah.
are sweet.
Yeah. That's cars are a passion of mine, but absolutely, I'd be a race car driver, hands down.
So did you have any mentors in, when you're starting CCTG or now?
People have asked me that a lot. Not really a mentor. When I think of a mentor, there's a few people that are in my life that I take certain things from and apply that to what I do now. My father being one of them. But if in terms of a business mentor, I think I mentioned this in class, but Andrew Carnegie. I mean,
Sure.
I've studied Andrew Carnegie and I've read his, various books and just philosophy on business and life in general. And if anybody asks me who could I model myself after in terms of a human, it'd be Andrew Carnegie, because he was one of the most brilliant business minds. He came from nothing, and he's accumulated some of the most vast amounts of wealth in history. And the great thing is he gave it all back.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he gave it all back. So, that's something that I aspire to, and look up to. So that would be a business mentor of mine.
How about in terms of the industry? Anything you'd like to see change or differently?
Change or differently with regards to the industry?
Yes.
I think we're slowly trying to do that with our with NACLB. Not to throw a plug in there, but we've been chipping away with kind of setting a standard, having lenders and brokers adhere to what we would call a code of ethics, and so we're doing it. I mean, not just with the CCTG of trying to elevate the level of person that comes out of here and what they know and how to act correctly. But with our association, we're slowly chipping away at where we'd like to see the industry rise up to, you know.
You have a vision. What's your vision for CCTG in the next 5 years?
To make the experience, actually to put some things in place to make your jobs easier. And so one of the things that we continuously look at, and we're not there yet, is to invest technology, to bring more technology to the business to make your job easier. And one of those things would be, so envision like a module where you would put in some criteria of a client you have, and it would automatically spit out like the lenders, the first,
That'd be nice.
That'd be nice.
just to make your job easier. So
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
I think the answer is the next 5 years, I see us investing in a lot of technology to enhance the experience and just, and to make your job easier.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That is a challenging part, especially when you're newer.
Sure.
In a case study, hey, where do we go with this? If it's something that's a little out of the box you're not used to,
That's great. That's great.
And the last question I had is, what's your why? Obviously you're very successful financially. You've done a hell of a job. You're creating several businesses, but what really motivates you on a daily basis? What keeps you going? What's your why?
My why, I like challenges. So although I love the industry I'm in, I wouldn't change it for the world. At the end of the day, I love the chase. I love the challenge. I love, creating things, and which is why we have, 5 companies here. That keeps me going and keep challenging myself. But if we want to segment it to finance and or just like my own company, Prime and CCTG, at the end of the day, I'll tell you what keeps me going. What keeps me going is things like this. And when I say things like this, it's getting the pleasure to getting to know you guys. And I said this in class, but I'll bring it full circle with this interview, is that here you guys were, you guys made a choice to come to CCTG because you wanted to better yourselves or enhance the quality of whatever that means. More money, more time together. Although after this interview, I don't know if you're together, but in any event, right?
Yeah.
In any event, I love the fact how we gave you an opportunity to do, to better your lives, and you guys took that opportunity. And at the end of the day, you're helping people. And so, when I hear stories of we have repeat clients and we're helping this person and we're helping that person, that keeps me going, because that's a great feeling. Yes, you paid us to be here, or you paid us to come in this program, but now you're going out and helping people. And if you take, you're just one out of 1,000 people, over 1,000 people, right? And so now if you take that and you times it by how many, grads are doing that and all the clients they have, that's a really good feeling. And that makes me feel, it keeps me motivated. Yeah.
Chris, are we ever allowed to come back and just, if we wanted to do a visit or
Yeah, man.
see a training class, if you're never, how does that work?
Absolutely. You just let us know. Yeah.
Okay.
If you ever want to sit in a class or maybe a day or two, just let us know. And even if you're just shooting through and you want to stop up and
I'd love to
have a coffee and play a game of pool, feel free. We're here.
Yeah, I've talked to Tim about doing that when he's up there, just joining him, come up for a day or two.
That'd be great. Yeah. Hang out with Tim.
Perfect.
All right. Well, guys, I think that's it. I could sit here and talk for another hour, but in any event, I know you guys are busy. You got things to do. So
Oh yeah.
it was my pleasure to interview you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to do
Our
this.
pleasure.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Well, that wraps it up for this episode of Entrepreneurs in Finance. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can see more content like this of in-depth interviews of people that have been there and done that. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.
You're welcome. Have a great afternoon.
Take care.
Bye.
There are just too many commercial loan brokers that don't have a damn clue of what they're doing. All we're trying to do here is better the industry for everybody. At the end of the day, you can make great money in this industry, but in the end, it's all about helping people. People always say, Chris, how can I be a successful broker? It's 2 words: hard work and dedication. If you don't like talking to people, you probably shouldn't be in this business.